Guys, today I am before you with a lecture on the topic Charles Dickens as a novelist. This has been prescribed in English Core Semester 4, Paper 401 and Unit 2. This video may be a little bit longer, so it may be in two parts. So I may upload it, send it in two parts. You will keep it in mind. Charles Dickens is one of the most prolific and creative masters of English literature. As far the world of novels is concerned, he remains shining as a gem without a parallel. He enjoys the same place and position in the field of novel as in the field of dramas mighty Shakespeare has. Again, as Shakespeare is for Elizabethan age, Wordsworth for the Romantic age, so is Dickens for Victorian age. He is certainly the most famous, most read author of the Victorian age and remains as the central attraction of Victorian fiction as Tennyson belongs to the poetry of the Victorian age. His wide experience of acute poverty and suffering and the subsequent success and affluence is found to be the materials of his fictional world. There is hardly any novel on the shelf of a well-stocked library which has been read more than his David Copperfield, Oliver Twist, Pickwick Papers, and so on. As a novelist, Dickens is a social chronicler. Social conscience is the first strength of his novels. Better to say, he introduced social novels in a much broader sense. Before him, the novels were more or less concerned with individual love, happiness, suffering, tragedy, etc. But Dickens has gone to the lower depth and related and treated society in its grim reality, in its poverty and ignorance, in its want and faith. He is a realist and brings into light the dark state of the underdogs of the English society with a genuine sympathy and a noble humanitarian zeal. Born of a poor, debt-ridden family with a hard, unhappy childhood, he had enough bitterness in his life, which he always raises in his novels. He was well aware of the contemporary social evils and presents them in his novels. Ill effects of industrialization, that is child labor, pollution, health and hygiene, malnutrition are the issues that he raises in his works. Besides this, the private school system, shortcomings in legal system, organized charity have also come under his scanner. Many social problems such as related to marriage and divorce, cruelty to the school children, and imprisonments are taken very seriously and realistically by him in his novels. On the one hand, Dickens deals with the vibrating contemporary issues in his novels On the other hand, his art of fiction writing is the keynote of his triumph as a novelist. His greatness as a literary man lies not only in the bulk of his production, but in the immense and wide range of his contributions to the world of fiction. Dickens, Dickens's contribution to the world of fiction is his gist of strong telling. He tells his story admirably well, and here he seems to teach his generations, and thus his influence is far reaching. Here he excels his great predecessors and inspires his immediate successors. Not only he has a marvelous art of storytelling, but also he is equally emphatic in his plot structure. His plots are no doubt bulky, yet he manages this so well that he is able to retain the suspense and interest of his story till the end. His gift of storytelling and plot construction, in fact, remains a matter of emulation for his contemporaries and successors as well. Another remarkable feature of Dickens as a novelist that makes him distinguished among the celebrated ones is his art of characterization. Very few writers are there in the history of English language and literature who has been able to create such memorable characters as Dickens has. He has created a host of unforgettable men and women: Sidney Carton, Mr. Pickwick, Mr. Micawber, Little Neil, and many others are the Dickensian figures who live ever in people's memories, even they are drawn from the ordinary walks of life. Here again, Dickens has contributed much to English fiction and enriched this craft with immense experience. Dickens' contribution to art of novel writing is also noticed in his priceless gift of humor. In him is always found a boundless humor in a free, vivacious, and irresistible manner, and the fountain of his fun never runs dry. Here Dickens appears to enliven the world of the English novel with his valuable contribution of the unique sense of humor in which wit and thought, fun and pathos are equally rolled and blent. One more remarkable feature of Dickens' creative strength is his forceful emotional power with which much of his fiction is inspired. The treatment of love, integrity, death, suffering, noble self-sacrifice find a fine exuberance in his novels through his characters. The death of Paul Dombey and of Neil, Mr. Micawber's optimistic assertions even in a state of desperation, and Sidney Carton's noble self-sacrifice may be cited as illustrative instances. Dickens is an idealist and didactic as well. His moral visions and views are openly and frankly acceptable, and thus here also he is a source of inspiration for his fellow writers. Last but not least, there is the poetry of Dickens's prose fiction. His descriptive writing has an imaginative range to turn even dull, sordid affairs into some brilliant and masterly imagery. In conclusion, it is seen that Dickens enjoys a unique place in the world of novels for his extraordinary acumen. He has no doubt, however, some faults, as in his exaggeration, sentimentalism, and bulky stories, yet his merits overshadow his meager weaknesses. His creative imagination is illustrated in whatsoever he has produced, and in the world of novels his name is surely imperishable. That's the end. Hope these notes on Charles Dickens as a novelist help you immensely. Thank you very much.